What's up, YouTubers? We're here today graphing quadratic functions in standard form. To know if you're graphing in standard form, it's going to be in this form: ax squared plus bx plus c. A, b, and c, they're just values, they're just numbers, so we're just going to substitute them in. To graph, you need 3 points. You need your y-intercept, you need your vertex, and you need your reflected point. We're going to reflect that point on the line of symmetry. So we also need the line of symmetry, LOS, like I like to call it. So to find the line of symmetry, there's a formula that you have to know. It's x equals negative b over 2a. Remember, a, b, c. All right, these values are gonna come in play when we talk about these points in the line of symmetry. To find the y-intercept, same thing as last time, we let x equal 0 and solve for y. But what happens? What happens when you let x equal 0 here and here? They cancel out. What are you left with? You're actually just left with the c value. So you get 0, comma, c. So the last term, which is your constant term, will always be your y-intercept. Okay, we're going to do one example together. So let's take this example. For example, you want to graph y equals 2x squared plus 4x minus 1. So y equals 2x squared plus 4x minus 1. Well, a is 2, b is 4, c is negative 1. Well, let's find our y-intercept first. To find our y-intercept, we let x equal 0. That cancels out, so you're left with your c value. So 0 comma c, which is 0 comma negative 1. There's your first point. Your next point, we need your vertex. But to find your vertex, we're going to find the line of symmetry first. The line of symmetry is x equals negative b over 2a. b is 4. We want opposite, so negative 4 over 2a. So 2 times 2. So when we do that, when we simplify, we get negative 1. So negative 1 is your line of symmetry. So right now, your line of symmetry is there. Somewhere around here is going to be your highest or your lowest point, your minimum or your maximum value called your vertex. So let's plug it back in. Let's plug in negative 1 for all my x values. And let's find the y value so you can figure out the height of this. So if you simplify this, so negative 4 there, we get that. And we get 2 minus 4 minus 1. Which is going to be 2 minus 5, which is negative 3. So my vertex is going to be negative 1, negative 3. All right, so let's graph that. So negative 1, negative 3. We have your line of symmetry. We have your vertex. So let's label that. Everything has to be labeled. Negative 1, comma, negative 3. Your y-intercept was 0, negative 1. Well, what's my distance from here to here? It's a distance of 1, so we're going to go one more distance there. So you get negative 2, negative 1. It's a reflection, and we get a happy face. Why does the happy face? Because the a value is positive. All right, so once again, y-intercept, 0, comma c. So 0, comma negative 1. To find the vertex, we have to find the line of symmetry first, which is x equal negative b over 2a. Once we find your line of symmetry, we're going to plug it back in for all my x values and solve for y, and we get negative 3. So negative 1, comma negative 3 is your vertex. You plot your vertex, your line of symmetry. Remember to have your line of symmetry, that's always going to tell you how to reflect properly. Your y-intercept, and then we reflect it. All right, so now it's your turn. I want you to try these problems on your own. Try your best. If you get it wrong, it's okay. We will go over it. And then we can see where your mistakes are. So your beginner level problems. So I want you to find the y-intercept. Fairly simple. 0, comma c. That's your hint. These two problems, y equals x squared minus 2x plus 1. And then y equals negative 3x squared plus x. I'm going to give you about 30 seconds to a minute to try this real quick, and then we'll come back, but try your best. Alright, let's go over these guys. So 0 comma c. Well, this one's easy, it's your last term. So 0 comma 1 is my y-intercept. Here, many people might believe that 1 is my y-intercept, but it's not technically your c value, this is your b value. There is this 0 there. So technically 0, 0 is your y-intercept. Alright, so check your answers, make your corrections, and then we'll move on from there. Alright, our next problem, intermediate level. I want you to find the vertex of y equals 3x squared minus 6x plus 1. I want you to find the vertex. You need to find the line of symmetry first. So find me the line of symmetry with the formula, which was this. Plug it back in and find me the vertex. I'm going to give you about a minute to try this. Try your best. And we'll come back. Alright, welcome back. So let's try that. Line of symmetry, negative b over 2a. So it's x equals negative over negative 6. Be careful there. Over 2 times 3. A negative and a negative makes a positive. 6 over 6, which is 1. Your line of symmetry is 1 right now. What's my next step? We plug it in. So wherever you see an x, you're going to plug in a 1. So here and there. Order of operations. Continue this. So you get negative 3 plus 1, which is negative 2. So what is my vertex? Well, we plugged in 1 for x, and we got negative 2. That is my vertex. So double check your work. Be careful with your negatives. Make sure everything is good. And we'll move on. Alright, your last problem, your final problem, your advanced level. I want you to graph this now. Let's do everything. Let's combine everything and see what happens. So if I give you this problem here, I'm going to throw in a fraction because we love fractions. I want you to find me the y-intercept, the line of symmetry, the vertex, and then graph it. I'm going to give you about a couple minutes to try this. Try your best. See as much as you can go. If you can do the y-intercept, the line of symmetry, great. But we always have to start somewhere in order to get better at this. I'm going to give you about a couple minutes. Go. Alright. Let's try this. Y-intercept, c value, 0 comma c, because we let x equal 0. So 0 comma 5. So check that. Your line of symmetry, x equals negative b over 2a. Let's plug it in. Here's a, here's b, so it's negative negative 2 over 2 times 1/2. So you get a positive 2. Half of 2 is 2, which is 1. So your line of symmetry is 1. Check to see if that's correct. So check, check. Next part, vertex. How do you find the vertex? Plug in your line of symmetry back in and find your vertex. So your y equals 1/2 of 1 squared minus 2 times 1 plus 5. So wherever we had a 1, we plugged it in. We have 1/2. 1 squared is 1, so we leave that alone. Minus 2 plus 5. We'll do 1/2 plus 3. We have to get common denominators. Common denominator of 2 and 1 is 2. So you get 6/2, which is 7/2. So what is my vertex? My vertex is going to be 1, 7/2, roughly 3.5. Okay, let's graph it. I'll graph it right here. So you have 1, line of symmetry. Here it's roughly 1 7/2. Your y-intercept was 0.5. Goes up here. What's my distance here? It's 1. So we go one more distance, so it's going to be 2. And then we have a happy face. Why? Because the a value is positive. So check everything. Make sure everything is good. Should look like this. Congratulations. Hopefully you're understanding graphing quadratic functions in standard form. Alright, so that concludes this. So if you enjoyed this video, please subscribe, turn on your notifications, and stay tuned for our next videos. Thank you.